Hey guys, Ninja Zane here, and today we have a little bit of an update video to our minimum characters guide for LEGO Dimensions. I did actually make an error in that video, and we're going to be basically explaining what the error is and how to resolve it here with one of the characters. Now, this video is intended to be used alongside that original minimum characters guide video, so if you're watching this, please watch the minimum characters guide first. It is a little bit long, but it is very extensive on why we need these characters that we do. This is just going to go over one of the character abilities that we kind of missed in that video, so if you're going to be following along with the minimum characters guide and playthrough, I highly recommend going along to that video first before watching this one. Now, if you have watched all of the original videos of the playthrough so far, this is specifically coming out when it is because I have just finished the main story in that playthrough, and the next part tomorrow will be kind of a transition video going over what we're going to be doing next. So that's why this video is coming out when it is. And if you want to watch all of the videos in that playlist, it is linked in the description below as well. Now, the ability that we're going to be going over today here is the ice ability, and it's actually kind of also the freeze breath ability, which is specifically only used by a few characters in the game. And we have 3 characters that we're kind of going to be going over that use that ability, and 2 of them use a vehicle, and 1 of them is one of the characters. And you'll see here that it's going to be Zane, Sensei Wu, and Blossom. Blossom is the only one where it's the character that we're going to be talking about itself that can use that ability. The other 2, it's going to actually be rebuilds of their vehicles. Now, there are 3 gold bricks that are specifically used with the freeze ability, and we're going to go over all 3 of them. Technically, all of these characters can get 2 of them, and the third one is kind of that question mark gold brick that we're going to be going over and why we need certain characters for that gold brick. And the gold bricks that we're going to be talking about today, one is going to be in the Teen Titans Go world, one of them is going to be in the Powerpuff Girls world, and one is going to be in the Goonies world. So we'll mention where each of those are and how each character can get that gold brick. So let's get into that. Alright, so the first gold brick that we're going to be talking about here is in the Teen Titans Go world. And this is going to be used by the Ferris wheel in the amusement park. This gold brick is basically just designed around using Blossom for it, which is why Blossom is going to be the recommended character if you're going specifically for this gold brick. The first part of this is going to be some flames around a control box for the Ferris wheel, and you're going to need someone who can put out fire. Now, technically, you can use someone that has the water ability. In this example, I have Newt that is being used here, but you can also use someone like Blossom to get this gold brick with that ability. And the section after that is when you're actually going to need the freeze breath ability. For some reason, once you put that fire out, you're going to need to use the freeze breath to make sure that the control box is actually at a suitable level in order to use the Ferris wheel again. Now, there are 3 different ways with these 3 characters to get this freeze breath done. If you're just using Blossom, obviously you use your freeze breath and bada bing, bada boom, you have made the control box frozen. And there you go with Blossom. Very simple, very easy. Now with Sensei Wu's rebuild with his vehicle, also fairly simple. You'll put it at the 3rd rebuild, and when you have that 3rd rebuild, you'll just basically use that freeze ability. It does have the ability to aim, and you'll aim for that freezing patch basically where you'll freeze that control box, and then you'll go to the next part. And then with Zane's vehicle, it's going to be where it becomes a little bit more interesting. You're actually going to have to get pretty far away from where the freeze patch is. With Zane's rebuild, you'll just aim at that patch. I'll have to kind of fly up and down with the vehicle to actually target what I'm supposed to be targeting, just because sometimes it has a little bit of a problem targeting it. It doesn't have the ability to aim like Sensei Wu's vehicle, which makes it just much less preferable. And then for the final part of this gold brick, you're going to need Blossom or Bubbles or someone else that has the Lantern Construct ability, which once again, if you just use Blossom herself, she can use that ability pretty well, and you can get that entire gold brick with just using Blossom. But if you're not using Blossom, you can use Bubbles, or you can use Raven, I believe, as well from the minimum characters guide to get that part. And that is pretty much how you're going to be able to get this gold brick with Blossom,
Zane's vehicle or Sensei Wu's vehicle. So let's go ahead and look at the next gold brick. Now, the second of the 3 gold bricks that we're going to be taking a look at here is in the Powerpuff Girls world. And this is going to be used over by the fountain in the city. Once again, we'll take a look at this with all 3 of the characters that we're talking about here. For this gold brick, the premise here is you got to use a laser ability to basically destroy the gold on top of the fountain. And then from there, you're going to freeze 3 different freeze patches to make some statues. The person is going to basically flip a switch to give you a gold brick from that fountain. And you can basically use Blossom again, just without using any other characters. You can use Blossom to get the laser at the top, and then you can freeze all of the different patches here as well, and then they will give you the gold brick after you get all of those frozen. Now with Sensei Wu, you actually cannot use the laser at the beginning of this gold brick. You'll actually need a different character to get that, so if you use someone like Bubbles or any other character with the laser ability, you can do that pretty easily from the minimum characters guide. But then from there, you'll just get Sensei Wu's dragon rebuild, and then from there you just aim and freeze each of the individual patches, and after you do that, they will give you a nice little gold brick. And then looking at this with Zane, you can actually do the laser prompt here with Zane's vehicle, unlike Sensei Wu's, which is a nice bonus. Then it makes you not have to use Bubbles here. And then, once again, just like the Teen Titans Go gold brick, you do have to aim pretty far to get these frozen, especially since there's 3 of them. It's pretty precise, and once again, I'll just normally go up and down with my vehicle until I can aim and get it, and then from there, you can, once again, beat up the person and get your gold brick. So once again, all 3 of these characters can get this gold brick with the vehicles and with Blossom herself with these specific abilities. Now for the Goonies gold brick, let's take a look here at what you're going to be doing. This is actually going to be a quest that gets you into the Fratelli's hideout, basically that restaurant in the movie. And it's a quest that you have to initiate with Chunk, who basically wants to get some ice cream from inside the Fratelli hideout because he knows that they have ice cream. But the police are basically patrolling and hunting down people that are intruding into that space. So the first part of this quest basically is that you're going to be trying to sneak past where the cop is basically spying on you to get all the way over to the left. Once you get all the way to the left, the cop is just kind of standing there. And this is where you're going to be needing the freeze ability. And if you just use Blossom, like again, for example, you'll freeze the cop. And then from there, you're going to need a grapple character to get to the second part. So you can activate a ladder and then push something to stun the other guard as well. And then you'll need someone with the rainbow brick ability to destroy the vending machine and then get the ice cream and give it back to Chunk. Now, getting the cop frozen is pretty simple with Blossom. You'll just go ahead and freeze him, and it's very simple, just like any other gold brick. And it's also pretty simple with the Sensei Wu dragon rebuild. You'll just head over with the dragon, and you'll make sure it is rebuilt. And then you will go over to the cop and then freeze him to get that gold brick. Now with Zane, this is the most interesting part because this is actually not possible with Zane's Ninja Copter rebuild, or at least not possible with the testing that I have done. I spent about 15 minutes trying to basically freeze this cop. I tried every which way, adjusting where I was aiming from, going up and down the same way as before. But because he's kind of more off screen when I'm trying to freeze him, you're actually not able to do that with Zane. Now, if you guys are able to somehow freeze him with using Zane's Ninja Copter rebuild, let me know in the comments, but I just spent a lot of time trying every which way to get that to freeze, and it just was not working for me, which makes this sort of impossible with Zane's Ninja Copter ability. However, I did find a workaround to get this gold brick without using either of the other characters. However, it is kind of a glitch, and in my eyes, it's a little bit more than I would want to do in a minimum characters playthrough. However, if you guys prefer to use Zane, you can do this with him, and we'll go over what that is now. Now, in order to get this gold brick the glitchy way, what you're going to do is once you start the quest, you're going to wait for the cop to move past that first spot that he is trying to catch you at, and you will use pretty much only Starfire or Bubbles can do this. For the purpose of our minimum characters guide, we're going to say Bubbles. Bubbles is going to basically aim at the vending machine with her laser vision, because she does have the rainbow brick ability and she can aim at that vending machine with her laser and get it. And then from there, it seems like, oh, I can't get that. I have to fly all the way over there. However, if you get in Zane's ninja copter, which is a way to use the ninja copter and get this gold brick, once you're in the ninja copter and you get past the barriers, normally it'll automatically send you back where you cannot go any further. However, if you're in a vehicle, it keeps you in the exact same spot that you were in before catching you. And so it might take a few tries of them actually catching you, but you'll just move the vehicle forward each time they catch you. And then from there, you can get the ice cream, and then you'll bring it back to Chunk. Bada bing, bada boom, you have gotten that gold brick without actually needing to use the freeze ability. Now, like I said, this is technically a glitched way to get this, but it does make it possible for you to use this without getting higher hero. I would not count this as a way to feasibly attain the gold brick, because it's not really the intentional way of getting it. So that puts us in a little bit of a conundrum here, because we have Zane in the original minimum characters guide, or technically any Ninjago character. And we also had only one character from the Powerpuff Girls world. If you're trying to go for a true minimum characters playthrough with only 34 characters, it is still possible. It just means that you have to switch out any Ninjago character for specifically Sensei Wu. So for the purposes of our guide, what we're going to do is we are going to take Zane out and put Sensei Wu in. However, my recommendation would be to still use any Ninjago character and then throw Blossom back in. And then for those people that really just want to use this glitch and use the other gold bricks with the Ninja Copter rebuild, you can also do that. That's why I showed this here in this video, so you guys can totally try and obtain that yourselves. And once again, if you're able to get this gold brick without using basically Blossom or any freeze character and just using Zane to freeze that character, please let me know in the comments below. I'd love to see someone actually getting that. Please link a video if you're able to get that done, and I will totally watch it, and I will admit that I'm wrong and not able to get that myself. So that is pretty much all I needed to go over in this video in terms of an update. There are a few abilities that I didn't mention in the original guide that I was pointed out. However, all of those abilities that I did not mention we'll go over in our minimum characters playthrough when we're going through those specific gold bricks. But this one I definitely needed to make a video on updating you guys, because it does change how we're going to be continuing our playthrough and how we're going to be using the minimum characters in general, especially since Zane has much different abilities than Sensei Wu. Sensei Wu can't swim and do a ton of those abilities as well, but it is technically required for that 100% with only 34 characters. So I wanted to make sure that I made this video here just updating you guys about this. But if you guys are really enjoying the content, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos in this playlist. The playlist is linked in the description below if you'd like to watch the entire minimum characters playthrough up until now. And if you're watching this later, it has all of the videos on the minimum characters playthrough all the way up until whatever I have done at this point. So highly recommend you watch that as well. But other than that, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and thank you for watching.